Another day, another story. Pablo Escobar, 1949-1993, was a notorious Colombian drug lord and the leader of the Medellín Cartel, one of the most powerful and dangerous drug cartels in the world during the late 20th century. Born on December 1, 1949, in Rionegro, Colombia, Escobar grew up in poverty and eventually became involved in criminal activities. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. Escobar gained notoriety for his involvement in the production and distribution of cocaine, which reached epidemic proportions in the United States during the 1980s. The Medellín Cartel was responsible for a significant portion of the global cocaine trade, and Escobar's ruthless tactics and violence made him one of the most feared and powerful criminals in the world. During his criminal career, Escobar amassed an immense fortune and became known for his extravagant lifestyle. He was involved in various criminal activities, including drug trafficking, money laundering, and racketeering. Escobar's influence extended beyond the criminal underworld. He was involved in Colombian politics and sought to control the country through intimidation and corruption. The Colombian government, along with the United States, waged an intense and prolonged campaign against Escobar and the Medellín Cartel. This effort culminated in Escobar's death on December 2, 1993, during a police operation in Medellin. The circumstances surrounding his death remain a subject of debate, with some suggesting he was killed in a shootout, while others believe he committed suicide to avoid capture. Pablo Escobar's life and criminal activities have been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and television series, including the popular Netflix series, Narcos. His legacy continues to be a significant part of Colombia's history, and the impact of his criminal empire is still felt in the region. More than 2 decades after his death, Pablo Escobar remains as well known as he was during his heyday as the head of the Medellin drug cartel. His fixture in popular culture is largely thanks to countless books, movies, and songs. We've decided to make our contribution with a list of facts about the life of the larger-than-life Escobar. Rise to power. Escobar, the son of a farmer and a schoolteacher, began his life of crime while still a teenager. According to some reports, his first illegal scheme was selling fake diplomas. He then branched out into falsifying report cards before smuggling stereo equipment and stealing tombstones in order to resell them. Escobar also stole cars, and it was this offense that resulted in his first arrest, in 1974. Shortly thereafter, he became an established drug smuggler, and by the mid-1970s he had helped found the crime organization that evolved into the Medellín Cartel. Escobar started his criminal career by engaging in petty crimes and smuggling cigarettes. He rose to prominence in the drug trade during the 1970s, smuggling cocaine from Colombia to the United States. Medellín Cartel. Escobar, along with other drug lords, formed the Medellín Cartel, which dominated the global cocaine trade in the 1980s. The cartel was responsible for large-scale drug trafficking, and Escobar became infamous for his brutal methods, including bombings, assassinations, and kidnappings. Mucho dinero. At the height of its power, the Medellín Cartel dominated the cocaine trade, earning an estimated $420 million a week and making its leader one of the wealthiest people in the world. With a reported worth of $25 billion, Escobar had ample money to spend, and he did. His lavish lifestyle included private planes, luxurious homes, see below, and over-the-top parties. In the late 1980s he reportedly offered to pay off his country's debt of $10 billion if he would be exempt from any extradition treaty. In addition, while his family was on the run in 1992-93, Escobar reportedly burned $2 million in order to keep his daughter warm. Despite his best efforts, however, even Escobar couldn't spend all that money, and much of it was stored in warehouses and fields. According to his brother, about 10%, or $2.1 billion, was written off annually, eaten by rats or destroyed by the elements. In some cases, it was simply lost. Hacienda Napoles. Escobar owned a number of palatial homes, but his most notable property was the 7,000-acre estate known as Hacienda Napoles, named after Naples, Italy, located between Bogotá and Medellin. Reportedly costing $63 million, it included a soccer field, dinosaur statues, artificial lakes, a bullfighting arena, the charred remains of a classic car collection destroyed by a rival cartel, an airstrip, a tennis court, and a zoo. More on that later. The estate, the front gate of which is topped by the plane he used on his first drug run to the U.S., was later looted by locals, and it is now a popular tourist attraction. King of the Jungle. Escobar's private zoo was home to some 200 animals, including elephants, ostriches, zebras, camels, and giraffes. Many of the creatures were smuggled into the country aboard Escobar's drug planes. After his death in 1993, most of the animals were transferred to zoos. However, 4 hippopotamuses were left behind. They soon multiplied, and by 2016 upwards of 40 lived in the area. The potentially dangerous animals have damaged farms and inspired fear in locals. Authorities began castrating male hippos in an effort to control the population. Robin Hood. Perhaps hoping to win the support of everyday Colombians, Escobar became known for his philanthropic efforts, which led to the nickname Robin Hood. He built hospitals, stadiums, and housing for the poor. He even sponsored local soccer teams. His popularity with many Colombians was demonstrated when he was elected to an alternate seat in the country's Congress in 1982. Alas, 2 years later he was forced to resign after a campaign to expose his criminal activities. The justice minister who led the efforts was assassinated. Plata o plomo. Escobar's way of handling problems was plata o plomo, meaning silver, bribes, or lead, bullets. While he preferred the former, he had no qualms about the latter option, earning a reputation for ruthlessness. He reportedly killed some 4,000 people, including numerous police officers and government officials. In 1989, the cartel was blamed for detonating a bomb on a plane that was carrying an alleged informant. Some 100 people died. La Catedral. In 1991, Escobar offered to turn himself in to authorities, if he was allowed to build his own prison. Surprisingly, or perhaps not, Colombian officials agreed. The result was the luxurious La Catedral. Not only did the facility include a nightclub, a sauna, a waterfall, and a soccer field, it also had telephones, computers, and fax machines. However, after Escobar tortured and killed 2 cartel members at La Catedral, officials decided to move him to a less accommodating prison. Before he could be transferred, however, Escobar escaped, in July 1992. And that brings us to the king is muerto. After his escape, the Colombian government, reportedly aided by U.S. officials and rival drug traffickers, launched a massive manhunt. On December 1, 1993, Escobar celebrated his 44th birthday, allegedly enjoying cake, wine, and marijuana. The next day, his hideout in Medellin was discovered. While Colombian forces stormed the building, Escobar and a bodyguard managed to get to the roof. A chase and gunfight ensued, and Escobar was fatally shot. Some, however, have speculated that Escobar took his own life. The drug lord, who faced possible extradition to the U.S. if arrested, had once said that he would rather have a grave in Colombia than a jail cell in the U.S. Wealth and influence. At the height of his power, Escobar was one of the richest individuals in the world, with an estimated net worth in the billions. His wealth allowed him to build a luxurious estate called Hacienda Napoles, complete with a private zoo, airstrip, and other extravagant amenities. Narcoterrorism. Escobar's reign was marked by a wave of violence known as narcoterrorism, as he used extreme measures to maintain control and eliminate rivals. The bombing of Avianca Flight 203 in 1989, which resulted in 110 deaths, was orchestrated by Escobar in an attempt to assassinate a presidential candidate. Manhunt and surrender. The Colombian government, with the assistance of the United States, launched an intense manhunt for Escobar. Facing increasing pressure, Escobar surrendered to Colombian authorities in 1991 under the condition that he would be imprisoned in a self-designed facility called La Catedral. Escape and death. Escobar's time at La Catedral was more like a comfortable fortress than a prison, and he continued his criminal activities from there. In 1992, the Colombian government, under pressure from the U.S., attempted to move Escobar to a standard prison. Fearing extradition to the U.S., Escobar escaped. He was eventually tracked down by Colombian authorities and was killed in a shootout on December 2, 1993, in a residential neighborhood in Medellin. Legacy. Escobar's death marked the end of an era in the Colombian drug trade, but his legacy continues to have profound effects on the country. The Medellín Cartel's activities and violence left scars on Colombian society, and the country has struggled with the aftermath of the drug trade's impact. Pablo Escobar's life remains a subject of fascination and scrutiny, and various books, movies, and TV series have explored different aspects of his criminal empire and the efforts to bring him to justice. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.